My chill out legendary build. This is for any sort of legendary content. And remember, legendary content is the hardest content you can possibly play in the Division 2. Whether it be legendary strongholds or legendary summit, it is by far the hardest content you can play. Now, with that being said, this is a chill out mask protection from elites build, because you do have max protection from elites, and with that you are pretty much golden to do anything in PvE and not have to worry about incoming damage as bad as you would without all of this protection from elites. The only thing is really like the drones and the skills and like wally bots, things like that. But that's why with the right skill choice for this build, you're able to get rid of all of those annoying enemies and then just focus on the ones that you want to. So without further ado, here is my chill out legendary build that you can use in Year 6 Season 1. Here we go. What's going on, YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 build video. Now shout out to the DoD Disciples of Doom. And in today's build video, I'm going to bring to you a legendary build that you can use in either Legendary Summit or Legendary Stronghold in a team or solo. It doesn't matter. This is one of my go-to legendary builds, and while the Chill Out Mask is currently available in the game, I found it fitting to showcase one of these builds for you. That way you can go get the mask, put this build together, and then jump into some legendary content. But don't take my word for it. I'm going to do things a little different here. I'm going to go ahead and show you some legendary rogue agents that I take on solo using this build. Here, watch this. All right, here we go. I have made it up to floor 91. I am on legendary with, what, 2, 4, 6, 8 directives. And I have just been notified that I have rogue agents. So without further ado, here is myself versus probably, what, 1 or 2 rogue agents on legendary with 8 directives. I hope you enjoy. And this is with my protection from elites build. However, remember that the skills are not protection from elites. So I'm going to switch the lefty off, and I'm going to go ahead and put on the good old AR. That way I can take out their skills. Because their skills will not be elite damage, it will be normal damage. Now, as soon as I walk into this room, it's going to be the rogue agents. So here we go. Wish me luck. All right. Let's see where they're at. Kill the rogue agents. Yep, there's 2 of them.
Hostile incinerator turret detected.
Yeah, see? That stinks. Because then I have to use my skill. And now I'm not going to be able to use... Oh, and they're using the Oxy. Oh, man, that's dirty. So they have an Oxy. They have a flamethrower. Dude, and they keep using their decoys. I see you. I see you. Let's go. Let's go. Oop, one's trying to snipe me. Oh, this guy's just taking it. Oh, almost. Almost. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Let's take him out. We want the 1v. We want it. We want it. Yes. All right. Here we go. Here's the second rogue agent on legendary with 8 directives. And remember, this is the chill out protection from elites build that I use in heroic and legendary. There we go. There are your legendary rogue agents. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, let's keep going. Now, sit back, relax, grab that popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe. You know the whole YouTube spiel. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the build breakdown. Here we go. So this is my chill out legendary build. This is Intimidate, perfect adrenaline rush with the chill out mask, Picaros, and 2 pieces of improvised. You can switch the secondary weapon depending on whether you're in a group or solo, and you can change your skills whether you're in a group or solo. It's all dependent on that and dependent on, what exactly your role is in that team. But overall, it should be the same because it's the same enemies you are going against no matter what in legendary content. And that, of course, is the White Tusk. So in Legendary Summit or in any of those legendary strongholds, you will go up against the White Tusk, which is basically the black tusk with a inverted color scheme and a nice increase to not only their armor, their health, but then their damage, of course. Now, with that being said, and keep that in mind, White Tusk, your annoying enemies are going to be your drones, your Wally bots, and your DARPA dogs. So the biggest way to counter those annoying enemies is going to be some sort of disrupting skill. So I'm going to go ahead and start there because this is pretty important. Now you can either use the EMP sticky or it would be the jammer pulse. Now just keep in mind, if you use the jammer pulse, this is a 23-second cooldown with a 3-second effect duration. All right, 23 and 3. For the EMP sticky, it's a 25-second cooldown, so 2 seconds slower, but it's a 10-second duration. So that's 3 times as long. And in legendary content, you want those enemies disrupted longer. That way you can get your shots in. All right. And that's where the Scorpio comes into play with Intimidate. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off at the top. We'll talk about all these different options. And then I'll show, a little bit more gameplay. But this is the same legendary build that I've been using for years. It hasn't changed. The only thing is that the chill out mask is available right now, and it's fitting to showcase this build again. Knock off the dust and show you one of these A1 builds that I have in my back pocket. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is that none of these items are new. You can farm for all of these items in the game right now, and in fact, the hardest thing to get would be the chill out mask, and that's currently available via the Loot Goblin, aka the Hoarder, right now in the game. Now, starting off at the top with the specialization, I am using the survivalist specialization, but this is because of team play. Because while I am in a group, I like to use the fire, grenade, and then I would switch my secondary weapon to the lefty. That way I could use perfect sledgehammer. Now, the cool thing about perfect sledgehammer is that you can throw the grenade, have this weapon in your hands, the grenade goes off, you see the perfect sledgehammer indicator over all the enemies, and you can immediately switch back to your primary weapon and just go off. And that's the best thing about this. You never really have to even shoot the lefty. All you have to do is have this in your hands while you throw that grenade, and then switch back to your primary weapon. Now, I would typically do that for my team, and I would use that with survivalists because using the survivalist specialization, there is a passive talent from the survivalist specialization tree that gives all of your teammates extra damage to status affected enemies. So I would proc the perfect sledgehammer from the lefty, have the fire, damage them with the burn, and I would also give them more damage from the survivalist. Pretty nice little combination there and synergy. However, I was using this solo in the summit, doing legendary with 8 directives. So I chose this combination because I needed the revive hive just in case some of those drones would get you, because they'll just come around those corners sometimes, and if I'm not quick enough with that EMP, they could take you out pretty quick. Remember that those drones, the turrets, those skills, they don't necessarily do elite damage. So the protection from elites does not really apply to them at all. The part that it applies to is the actual elite enemies themselves, not the skills. I've noticed that, and I've told everyone about that when it comes to hunters and when it comes to rogue agents. But not only that, but in legendary content just as a whole, like the drones, Wally bots, DARPA dogs, those type of things will really mess you up. So that's why I keep stressing you need to have at least one disrupt skill. And if you're in a team, maybe you could get rid of the revive hive and just go EMP sticky with a jammer pulse, just to double down with the disrupts. And then that way you can just focus on getting all that damage downrange. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the weapons. My primary weapon for this build is going to be the Scorpio. The Scorpio is the best exotic weapon for PvE content. It's the best. Reason being is you can use this in anything. The raids, you can use this in the incursion, you can use this in legendaries, you can use this in PvP, you can use this in PvE, you can use this in the dark zone, you can use this in the light zone. I mean, it's starting to sound like a Dr. Seuss book, and that's because the Scorpio is amazing in anything you use it for. And it gets even better the more times you shoot a target. And that's the cool thing about this. Now I'm just under 1,000,000 total damage on a tank build, mind you. Now the stats here are not fully maxed out, meaning I can increase that expertise another 6%, which would get me over 1,000,000 base damage on this build before anything else happens. Now again, that's on a tank build with protection from elites. Now this bad boy has damage to armor and damage to targets out of cover for the attributes. Those are maxed out with the shotgun damage, but it's all about the talent. This is what makes this weapon so strong. So it's called Septic Shock. Shooting a target applies stacks of venom. Now this will last for 10 seconds. So it's basically however many shots you can get on target in 10 seconds. Now the first shot would be poison. 3 shots on target will disorient them and make them stagger, just so you know. 6 shots on target will make them shocked, and that will also hold them in place. And then that 7th and final shot, the target will then take additional damage of 20% from all sources. So at that point, the poison that you're doing towards them, if you have them under any other status effect, any other skills or anything, your teammates doing damage to that target, it's all increased because of this weapon. Now, the duration of the status effects is based off of how many pellets you hit on target. So the closer you are to the target, the better it is for those status effects. Now, mind you, you're going to be close to your target because of your chest piece and backpack talents. Now, we'll get to those in just a second, but let me tell you about the secondary weapon. Now, this is my setup for solo legendary. Like I showed you with the rogue agents, I was doing all of this solo in the summit, just messing around with a crap ton of directives. And it worked like a charm. I had no problems at all. It was a lot of fun. I do enjoy it, and I'll join a few people in Legendary Summit and show you what it's like in a team, but it's all the same. I'm telling you, it's just plug and play, go jump in Legendary, and you'll see the results for yourself. This thing is amazing. Ask any sort of Legendary player that likes to regularly run Legendary content. This is going to be on one of their go-to builds. Now, the secondary weapon, Shield Splinter, I was using an AR, and I am using Survivalist for the specialization. I didn't feel like changing it. So I just went with my go-to right now in Year 6, Season 1, and that's the Shield Splinter. Remember that in Project Resolve, they upped the RPM and the mag size. So now it has a 900 RPM and a 60-round magazine with Perfect Optimist, which is just it's just mwah, chef's kiss right now. I'm feeling it. I really really enjoy this weapon, and it has a few cool skins, but I'm digging the OG armament that's on there. It looks really good, and yeah, I don't know, the whole hunter, lore behind this weapon also reels me in. So it's my go-to right now. Shield Splinter. Damage to targets at a cover. To get this weapon, you have to hunt down and eliminate all of the year 1 hunters. And then you can open this up at the ivory chest that is in the base of ops. There we go. Now for team play, like I was saying earlier, I would switch the Revive Hive to a jammer. So I would do this, and then I would switch the secondary weapon away from an AR because you won't need it. You'll primarily just be using the Scorpio, and then you'll be proccing the Perfect Sledge on groups of enemies whenever you start an encounter, because that's the best way to start an encounter. You throw a fire grenade, catch them all off guard, let your teammates focus fire, you focus fire, everybody's happy. So this would be my setup for team play.
You have received an invite to another agent's group.
Now, back to the solo setup. I would just put an AR there just in case enemies were far away, and I would switch that jammer to a Revive Hive just in case, like I was saying, those drones or Wally bots or DARPA dogs or what have you. Now, looking at the build itself, I have 4 blue core attributes and 2 red. However, I technically have 3 red because of the Picaro's holster. Remember that the Picaro's holster also gives you that weapon damage as a normal attribute. And yeah, it's not bad. It really helps out with tanky DPS combos. And that's exactly what this is. It's a tanky DPS combo where I'm getting a lot of my damage from my chest piece talent. And overall, I'm just very tanky, right? Now, add that with the backpack, perfect adrenaline rush. Now, this gives you 69% bonus armor whenever it's fully procced. So you're already, getting over 800k bonus armor on top of the 1.7 million armor you already have. And that bonus armor will then proc the Intimidate, and Intimidate goes all the way up to 36% weapon damage. And all you have to do is be close to the enemy with bonus armor, and you get bonus armor just by being close to the enemy because of the adrenaline rush. It's just all within 10 meters. And you're using a shotgun primarily, so you're going to want to be within 10 meters. Not only that, but the talent, it kind of forces you to be close to the enemy because it's based off of your pellets that you actually hit on target. So you want to make sure that you're pretty close because you have to keep in mind the spread. Now, back to the build itself. It's all about the chill out mask, right? So let's start there. So the chill out mask is currently available from the Hoarder, or the Loot Goblin is how I like to call him. Now, the Loot Goblin is all over the map, whether it be the Summit, New York City, or DC. Now, the most popular spots for me personally, and this is what I like to show everybody, is DCD headquarters, Jefferson Trade Center, and the DZ South main entrance. I hit all 3 of these locations, and as soon as I find the Hoarder, I see which named item he drops, hoping that it's the chill out mask, and then I log out, log back in, go to the next location, and then just keep rotating over and over. And every single time you find the Loot Goblin, you take him out, you pick up the loot, you log out, log back in, and do it all over again. I've shown this in several videos. It's super easy, and you can farm the Loot Goblin until your eyes bleed. Now, the only problem is that the chill out mask is not the only named item that the NPC will drop. So it's kind of in like this weird RNG loot rotation where it fights with the chill out mask, the Slayer, the O'Carroll, the Cooler, and the festive delivery. So there's 5 different named items that he can drop. So you have to, hope that you get the chill out. Now the cool thing about the chill out mask is it's going to drop with an armor core. So in the case of this build, all I did was roll crit chance on there. Because the chill out mask, what makes it so special or, unique is that it only comes with one attribute. Similar to like a gear set item where it's only the core, one attribute, and then mods. Now the chill out mask, the special part is that it has 2 mods. And that's where we're able to double down on the protection from elites. So this one mask gives us an increase of total armor, crit chance, 24% protection from elites, and that's, just this one item with that armor and that armor increase. Now, with that in mind, we're able to hit that 1.7 million armor, and this build's not even fully optimized. Remember that the expertise levels go up to 26. So I'm missing so many levels that could increase the armor even further. You could probably hit 1.8 million armor when each of these items are fully maxed out in that expertise. Now that's the chill out mask, right? So you can get it from the hoarder, and you can put 2 of the same mods on there. Now one of the benefits of doing that would be protection from elites, and that's why I'm showing you this protection from elites build for legendary content. Now the next 2 items I want to showcase are very unique as well, but you can craft these. These are some of the very first blueprints you will ever get in the game. So 99% of you will have access to these blueprints. Now these are both improvised items. So improvised gloves and improvised knee pads. Now the reason why I am doing that is that these, instead of giving you a brand set, it just gives you a mod slot. So what we're doing is we're just utilizing the mod slot for protection from elites. That way we're able to have 2 mods on the mask, 1 on the backpack, 1 on the chest piece, and then 2 extra mods being on our improvised. So that's how we're able to get to our max protection from elites without having anything on the holster. And we're able to put the Picaros there to get the weapon damage and the armor. So you're seeing how this build, gets that perfect synergy. Now, as far as the improvised items, all you have to do is go to your crafting station, and it is RNG based. So all of the attributes, whether it be the core attributes or the bottom attribute, they will all be random. So for this build, it's the gloves and the knee pads. So go to gloves, you would toggle down to the other category, and there it is, improvised. Now the same thing for the knee pads. Go to knee pads, toggle down to the other category, and there is the improvised knee pads. And I'm using both of those for this build. Now I do not have double crit on both, but I'm pretty close. So let me show you. Now starting with the gloves, I do have double crit on here with weapon damage, so I got lucky. And then of course I put the protection from elites mod on there. So pretty nice for those improvised gloves. However, the knee pads, I was not as lucky. I have crit damage and headshot, which is fine. It's not the worst. It's the next best thing, but I would like more crit chance just because I am using a shotgun, and the more crit chance, the better. But again, protection from elites mod on here, and weapon damage for that core. Now going to the backpack, we do have the Matador. This is the named Walker Harris backpack with perfect adrenaline rush, and like I told you, fully maxed out will give you 69% bonus armor. Now the Walker Harris brand set bonus for this build gives us 5% weapon damage. We have armor for the core, double crit, and then another protection from elites mod. No, I do not have a 13% protection from elites mod. I don't. I'm very unlucky with this character on this account. If you do have a maxed out protection from elites mod, let me know how many you have and how the hell you got them, because I still can't get 13%. I think it's a myth for this account. I truly do. Now, the Perfect Adrenaline Rush also procs our chest piece, so we're just going to go right back into that. But overall, think of the synergy this way. The chest piece gives us shotgun damage. The backpack gives us weapon damage for our shotgun. The backpack gives us bonus armor for our survivability, while the chest piece gives us weapon damage for our shotgun. The holster gives us armor and weapon damage for our shotgun, while the mask also gives us armor and crit chance for our shotgun, and also provides us with more protection from elites to take on all of those elite enemies. The two improvised are all aimed for weapon damage for our shotgun, but they also have protection from elite mods to help with our survivability. So you can see how this is, like, I keep trying to stress that this is a really good hybrid, like, tanky DPS. And that's what makes it so special for legendary content. And that's, I don't know. A lot of people just like to run into legendary with any random build. And I think that if you just focus on your build, that would be like 90% of the work. The rest of it is just, stay with your team and focus fire, and you can get through any sort of legendary content with the right team and the right builds. But with this build, you could do that solo and not even have to worry about a team. Now, that leaves us to the chest piece, Badger Tough. The Badger Tough brand set bonus gives us 10% shotgun damage for the Scorpio. We have armor for the core, double crit, and protection from elites. The Intimidate talent is only active while we have bonus armor. So we have to make sure we are close enough to have that Adrenaline Rush active. And as soon as the Adrenaline Rush is active, this is active. Pretty easy. And the stacks are immediately lost as soon as you lose your bonus armor, and you will lose your bonus armor as soon as you are out of combat. So you do have to wait for the Intimidate to stack up, but it only takes a few seconds. And finally, the Picaro's holster. Picaro's holster, we are using this because it's the perfect holster for any sort of tanky DPS build, because it gives you armor and it gives you weapon damage. Now, I chose crit chance on here because we are using a shotgun, and with it being the named Brazos, we get skill haste on top of that, which isn't bad. Not bad at all. Now, as far as the skills go, I am using the EMP because it has the highest duration of that disrupt status effect. That not only helps me get out of sticky situations, it also takes out their skills, takes out their drones, takes out their wally bots, disables the DARPA dogs, and it gives me time to focus fire elites that get staggered from the sticky bomb. So I can't stress enough how vital the EMP sticky bomb is, but if you don't have the EMP sticky, the next best thing would be that jammer. And that's why I keep saying that if you're in a team, you could run both the jammer and the EMP sticky, and then you're good to go. Have one person on your team run a revive hive to pick up, anyone that gets tripped up, and you're good to go. Now, finishing up with the stats, this is for the Scorpio. So we're sitting just under 1 million weapon damage. We're at 992k. For the crit chance, we are at 50%. So if we were able to get crit chance on those improvised knee pads, we would be at 56. But I digress. 93 crit damage, 75 headshot, and 12% armor damage. Don't forget about the damage to targets at a cover, the damage we get from the Intimidate talent, and the damage we get from the Scorpio talent as well. For the offensive tab, we're at 80% all weapons damage bonus and 40% shotgun damage bonus. So every time we're using the Scorpio, we're sitting at 120% damage bonus total. For the gear talents, we are using the Matador, so we have Perfect Adrenaline Rush. We do have Intimidate on that Badger chest. And, not too shabby. The Intimidate Adrenaline Rush meta has always been a thing since year 2 of the game. And even here in year 6, it's still top of the line. Now, the defensive tab, we are rounded up to 1.7 million armor. And like I said, if you fully optimize all of your gear items and increase those expertise to max, You could get this up to probably 1.8 million armor. I'm nowhere near max on expertise on any of my gear items, so you could keep increasing the armor if you had the exotic components. I myself sadly do not. As far as the health, we are sitting at 363k. We do have max protection from elites. So max protection from elites is 80%. I technically have more than that on this build, but it does cap out at 80%. And that's why instead of using a improvised holster and increasing it even further, I don't need to, because I know that it's already capped out. And then that's why I'm able to use that Picaro's and get my weapon damage up even further. Now, the hazard and the explosive resistance are both due to my watch level. They're at 10%. And this, leaves us with my disclaimer for all my build videos. I'm currently at watch level 9,294. That means all these boxes are maxed out 50 of 50. Now, if you are at or above shade level 1000, you can copy and paste my build and get the exact same numbers and results. However, if you are below shade level 1000, some of these boxes are not going to be maxed out. Therefore, when you go to copy and paste my build, some of your numbers might be lower. It's okay. Don't freak out. This is still an amazing build, and I use this in legendary content, whether it be solo or with my buddies or with random people. It really doesn't matter. This build is amazing for legendary content, I promise you. And if you don't have the shield splinterer, it's okay. Use whatever other secondary weapon you want. It doesn't matter. As long as you have that Scorpio, you're good to go. But all right, that is it for the build breakdown. If you found this video helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Support the channel by subscribing and ring that notification bell. That way you don't miss a single Division video. But I am Kamikazevondoom. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. And peace out. Oh, yeah. And roll some legendary footage. Bow. Ooh, got it. I got the terminal down. All right. Oh. Oh, no. Got him down. Oh, he went down and then backed out. Oh, my gosh. Pick yourself up. There you go. You're good. Almost done here. Just give me a second. I guess this is what we get for matchmaking legendaries. People are jumping in, they'll go down, and then they just back out immediately. It's like, come on, man. We got this. I got revive hive for you. I got you, bro. Oop, these drones, though, are going to suck. Yep, there we go. I think this is the last enemy, though. Oh, how are you going to do that when I'm in your face with a shotgun? There we go. GG's. GG's.